Hi, Yvonne. Thank you for being here. When did you join a Spiritual Self Mastery Club?
So I joined 5 months ago.
So what made you decide to join the Spiritual Self Mastery Club?
I decided to join, to be honest, I was going through a lot of anxiety and stress at work, and I wasn't really coping with it very well. I was getting very frustrated, very anxious, very short-tempered. I would say probably suffering a bit of depression as well, and I just wasn't feeling myself, and I didn't really know how to stop feeling that. I didn't know how to change my mindset to something more positive. So when I saw the club, and I think it was on the Phoenix's Rising workshop that it was mentioned there, I thought that I would give it a go, because at that point I didn't think I had anything to lose. I just needed to do something for myself.
Thank you. So this is very relevant. What was it that you were struggling with before you joined the club, and how did you feel about your life before starting working with me?
Yeah, so I would say I was feeling very, very negative. I was feeling like I was trying to control everything, because I felt like I didn't have any control in my life whatsoever. I felt things were happening to me without any real, like I said, control or direction over that. So I really struggled with that. One of the things that I, notice about myself is I'm a real control freak. So when you start to feel like you're losing control, it's a terrifying experience. You don't really know how to cope with it, and it puts you into a very dark, very negative space. So, really that for me was the deciding factor of something has to change, and it really has to be me, because I'm the only thing that I can control. I can't control anything else.
Thank you. And what was the magnet or the one thing that attracted you to the club?
Yeah, the one thing. That's quite difficult, because there was a lot of things in it. I think, as I said, I went through the Phoenix's Rising workshop, and going through that first, I met a lot of like-minded people, and that workshop was very positive for me. I felt like a real change from that, whether it was doing the meditations, whether it was just learning more about different things. That for me was the real, the one thing that really changed my mind about this type of work, this type of club. So I think just meeting each of those different people, being exposed to a different way of thinking, was just the real catalyst for me.
Thank you.
That answer that question?
Yes. What were some of your self-talk about working with me? What were some doubts that you had experienced prior to taking action?
Yeah, I think, I wasn't really sure it was going to work. I'll be really honest. I sat there, I had doubts. I thought, this is all very sort of soft and wishy-washy, and that's not really me. I prefer tangible things that I can touch and do, to say I've done that and now I can see the result. When you're working with your mind and your spirit, it's very different to working with your body. So you can go to the gym and you can work out for an hour every day, and you see the results of that physically. When you're talking about doing something for your mind, for your spirit, for your sense of being, your sense of purpose, you can't point to something physical or tangible and say necessarily that was it. That there is the result of that. You feel it, but you don't necessarily see it. So I'd say, the hardest part for me, and the doubt that I had, was, would I see the impact of what I was trying to do, because it wasn't tangible.
Thank you. And when you started thinking about joining the club and working with me, why was it essential to dedicate your time and energy towards this?
Yeah, I think, time is something we all struggle with, right? There's never really enough of it. And I'd say you really have to, like with all things, it's about consistency and it's about progress. And, similar to the analogy I was giving before about going to the gym, you go the first time and nothing changes, and you go the second time and nothing changes, and you go the third time and nothing changes. So it's only by sticking with something and going through the process that you begin to see the changes. So for me, that was why this was worth the time and the effort, because I started to see changes. You know, it may not have been immediate. Some of them were, definitely they were. Others were slower going, because it takes time to change. It's about consistent effort. It's not about immediate result. Like I said, it's not, you know, it's not an instantaneous gratification that we're all used to, right? We press a button and we can have anything at our fingertips. This is not how that works. You have to do the work and then you get the result. And those are some of the best things that you can try to achieve in life, I think.
Wonderful. So what breakthroughs have you had while working with me?
Yeah, I would say you really do have some aha moments. You know, you hear a lot about that in the club about, you know, what were your aha moments, the moments that really made you sit back and go, ah, now I get it. That's why I do that. I had quite a few. I would say there was a lot I didn't realize that I was holding on to from my childhood that really stuck with me and shaped who I was, or who I am, really. You know, there's a lot of learned behavior from when you're young that you just don't realize how ingrained in you that is, you know, how ingrained it is in your actions, your reactions, your thoughts. So I definitely had a lot of those where you go through the program and through the various lessons and modules, and you begin to see how things link together. And it really is, it's not a single event. It really is like a chain reaction. Something has happened and it can be a tiny thing, insignificant. You don't even realize what it is and how important that was and how it shaped and defined you. But as you go through the program, you begin to see how connected everything actually really is. And that for me was a real aha moment. You know, nothing is a single instant in your life. It really isn't. It's so connected to so many other things.
Yeah. So what do you like about the Spiritual Self-Mastery Club?
I like, you know, I love the people that I've met. I have to say, I really do. They are very unique people, very different. And I think having different perspectives helps you with your journey, right? Because if everybody thinks the same way, then you're all just having the same thoughts, and that doesn't really challenge you and help you to think differently and behave differently. You know, there's a lot of people in the club who absolutely know where they're going and what they want to do, and know what their blockers are, and seem to really understand what they're here for. And then there are others that are just, you know, normal everyday people who haven't got a clue and are just kind of putting it together day by day, which is, I'm lumping myself in that category. You know, I'm not some great, you know, guru mystical person who goes, oh yes, great, I absolutely know what my purpose in life is and what makes me happy and what I want to do and how I want to help people. You know, I'm not that. So for me, my journey's been very different, but having those people around me who have different thoughts and different ways of approaching things has really challenged me to think differently and act differently. So that for me has been a great thing about the club.
Wonderful. So what transformation have you had since joining the club?
Yeah, so I would say the biggest one is I honestly was in such a dark place when I started. I can't overemphasize, you know, how dark I felt. You know, there was this huge cloud around me that I just honestly couldn't fight my way out of. And I did feel like I was trying to fight my way out of it every day, this negativity, this frustration, this anxiety. And I just couldn't take it. I just really it was a horrible way. I look back now and I just can't believe that that's where I was. And it's not even like there was a single moment where I can point to it and say, that was the moment where it flipped for me. But I feel so different now, so much more positive, so much more, I'm not even going to say in control, because it's not about me having control, but so much more accepting of things, not trying to control everything. I feel more balanced. And I think that really is the important thing for me, because I think I was so tipped one way into this, you know, dark state, that finding that balance, you know, because you can't live in the happy sunshine all the time either, right? Life is going to throw you these challenges and you have to understand how to, you know, respond to those. And that for me has been the biggest change, is finding the balance and knowing that I'm responding to things that are happening. I'm not reacting to things that are happening, right? Because when I react, it hits my triggers and I start acting frustrated and angry and short-tempered, and all those bad things kick in. But finding a better way to respond to the things that are happening has just been a real life-changing thing for me.
Great. So how is working with me is different from working with other people?
Yeah, I mean, I've been to, I've worked with a few other people. I think, everybody has different strengths, different ways of looking at the world. I think what I like about, working with you, Edda, is that you do challenge me. You really do want the best for me. I believe it. I see it. You don't let me kid myself either. It's very easy at the beginning to, try and convince other people that it's not you. It's not your fault. It's the world's fault. You're not doing anything, or you're doing all the right things. But when you have somebody like yourself who says to you, really, is that the way it happened? Think back. What about this? Have you considered that? And have you tried this? Somebody who pushes you out of your comfort zone has been great to have around, and that's exactly what you are. Somebody who's positive and who challenges me. I have just absolutely loved, and you don't necessarily get that with everybody. A lot of people that you work with can sometimes just try and talk at you without really engaging with you, whereas you actually engage with everybody, which I like.
Great. So what would you say to your younger self, 6 months ago, when she was thinking about joining the Spiritual Self-Mastery Club? What words of wisdom would you give it to your younger self?
Yeah, I think I would just say to myself to not be afraid and just to go for it, right? That I really didn't have anything to lose, and to go in with an open mind. And I think that to me would have been the best advice I could have given. I went in honestly so closed up with all that tenseness, that anger, for that frustration, that I think if you go in much more open-minded and saying you have nothing to lose, nobody's going to hurt you. It's a safe space. Nobody's going to judge you. There's no criticism. There's nothing like that. It is a safe space for you to figure out what's going on and fix it. I think that's the best advice I could give myself.
Brilliant. Thank you. And if someone, comes to you about working with me and joining the club, but they had doubts, what would you let them know?
I would say having doubts is very normal. As I said, when you're not working with something tangible, when you're not giving somebody something they can touch to say, you touch this and you feel better, or you eat this and you feel better, it's a harder process, I think, for people to accept and to understand and to really buy into. So, I would say to anybody looking, for help, for looking to join the club, is to say, you really won't regret it. You absolutely won't regret it. I think if you are, struggling with anything, or if you just want to explore possibilities and really become the best version of you that you can be, then you should be joining this club, right? It really will challenge you in the best ways. It will connect you with the best people. It really has some great members that I think are the kindest, most loving people who don't judge. And really, we're all going through our journeys together, but nobody is focused solely on themselves. And I think you feel better when you're helping other people. And I think that's part of the journey that we're all going through. So it's invaluable being in a club. You can't, you can do it on your own, but you can't get that group community and that kind of group love, I guess, without being in a club like this. So absolutely just join.
Yeah, we are stronger together, isn't it?
Absolutely stronger together.
So remind me, how long have you been with the club?
5 months. 5 months with the club.
And is there anything else you want to add or share with others?
Let me think. I think I would say to anybody who's, joining the club, thinking of joining the club, or even in the club already, is that it really has been a great experience for me. It really has been. And I think, as I said, being in a community where people are going through the same thing and not judging you is a huge thing, because life is difficult. Right? It can be really tricky, and life isn't going to, stop being difficult, stop giving you challenges, stop giving you opportunities even as well. And I think you need to be the best version of yourself to be able to accept all of that, deal with all of that, and just live. So joining this club really has helped me, and I believe would help a lot of people just be the best versions of themselves, to do whatever it is that they want to do in life, right? Even if you don't know what that is yet, you don't have to. You absolutely don't have to know where you're going, right? I think that's part of the journey. It's not the destination, you'll always hear a lot of people say, it's not the destination at all. So this just helps you enjoy the journey and really be the best version of yourself on it. And that's invaluable. It really is.
And with the Awaken program, they can also figure out where their journey is taking them, isn't it?
Yeah, yeah, absolutely. Absolutely. You do figure out where you're going to on the journey. Like I said, it's not instantaneous. You don't get it on day one where this little light bulb will go off above your brain and you'll figure out what you're here for. And that's why it's important to stick with the program. It's there for a reason. It guides you and helps you connect everything so that you actually do realize where the roadmap is, and where you strayed off it, right? And how to get back on it. And that's really important. It just really is.
Great. Thank you so much for your time. I really do appreciate it, Yvonne. Thank you.
Okay. Thank you. Bye.